here, and also to do my rather happy here because this is where the action is.
And the food, right?
I can see clearly now the rain has gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone of the dark cloud that had me blind. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. If I can make it now, the pain has gone. All of the bad feelings have disappeared. Here's a rainbow I've been praying for. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. Look all around, there's nothing but blue sky. Look straight ahead, nothing but blue sky. I can see clearly now the rain has gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone in the dark clouds that had me blind. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. If I can make it now, the pain is gone. All of the bad feelings have disappeared. Here's a rainbow I've been praying for. Bright, bright, sunshiny day. Look all around, there's nothing but blue sky. Look straight ahead, nothing but blue sky. I can see clearly now the rain has gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Out of the dark clouds that had me blind. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. I set my love over the mountains. I set my love over the sea. I set my love into the heavens, and it returns to me. I set my joy over the mountains. I set my joy over the sea. I set my joy into the heavens, and it returns my peace over the sea. I set my peace into the heavens, and it returns to me. I send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me. And it returns to me. Let's hear it again for Dave. Well, good morning. Happy Easter. Welcome to the Grants Pass Center for Spiritual Living. I'm Reverend Steve Van Meter, your senior minister. It's my honor and privilege to welcome you here this morning. I know you have a lot of spiritual places you can be in consciousness, but you found yourself here. This is the place. You made it. You can relax now. We have a wonderful talk planned for you and some goodies afterwards. We have a lot of stuff going on this morning, so I'll head right into it. Let's do our vision mission statement, which says,
We are an open, loving, spiritual community dedicated to evolving consciousness through teaching spiritual principles.
I want to thank you all for making this your spiritual destination this morning, even out in Zoom land. We see you there, and we're so grateful that you're here. And we are going to have some announcements, right? We're going to invite our board president, Jamaica Wallace, up so she can give us a little bunny experience. So come on up, Jamaica.
Happy Easter, everyone. I have just a few announcements. First, I just want to start with a very special thank you to everyone. There we go. Special thank you to everyone who helped make this event possible, all these wonderful decorations and preparing the food and all the planning. Special thank you to Paula and Ralph Peterson.
Yay.
Sherry Green, Barbara Scott,
Yay.
Reverend Steve, and of course, there's so many more. Everyone that brought food, and I know everyone just being here and participating is so wonderful to see all the faces, and thank you guys so much. So we have some fun fundraisers coming up, everybody. So mark your calendars. The first one coming up is the Art of Hope Color Therapy. This is a chakra paint pour fundraiser event held on April the 27th. There are 2 time slots available, one at 2 p.m. and one at 6 p.m. Prices vary depending on what size of painting that you want to do, but 10% of the proceeds do come back to GPCSL. So it's a great way to go have fun and help raise some money for our center. Color therapy is an alternative therapy that uses colors and their frequencies to heal physical and emotional challenges within the human body. While paint pouring will assist in expressing your emotions with color and movement on the canvas. If you have any questions about this, you can contact Nicole Brown, and there is a sign-up sheet and more information available on the back counter for that. And then we have coming up, May the 4th be with you. And what day is that on? The 4th. May the 4th. Get your lightsaber ready for a fun evening of great food and, of course, a Star Wars movie. This will be held on Thursday, the May 4th, from 5 to 8 p.m. Dinner is being catered by Indigo Catering and includes soup, salad, roasted vegetables, roasted veggies with meat or without meat, and their Obi-Wan Kenobi kebabs that we will be having, along with Star Wars inspired desserts. This event is $20 per person, and there is a sign-up sheet again available on the back counter, and Nicole is heading that up, so if you have any questions, you can contact her about that. And then, more fun. We have so much fun. Save this date, June the 24th, we are having our community fun fair. This is our second annual fun fair. If you guys remember, we did it last year as well. And this is going to be a very special day, fun in the sun with live music. We're going to have youth activities, healing arts, a barbecue, local vendors, and special presenters. There is a sign-up sheet available in the back with applications. If you would like to be a vendor or a presenter, let us know. And if you have any questions, you can contact Wendy Orsat or Chris Strong. And moving on. Okay, that's all our nope, almost, hang on. We are live on Square. Let you guys know we have completed our switch over from Vanco to Square. It is fast, easy, and safe, and it seems to be working wonderfully. If anybody does have any questions or problems, please contact myself or Reverend Steve, but we seem to be up and running perfectly. And then we have another wonderful class that is taught by our very own Paula Peterson, practitioner extraordinaire. The Essential Earnest, sorry guys, I can get this out. This one, a tongue ties me. The Essential Earnest Holmes. Are you curious about the philosophy and teaching of Ernest Holmes? Would you like to learn more about the evolution of science of mind? Ernest Holmes would not want you to hang on his every word. Instead, use his word as a foundation from which to build your own future, one belief at a time. This class is starting Friday, April the 14th at 2 p.m. It's a 10-week class, and the cost for this class is $200. That's $145 for the class. It is a $45 certificate fee, and then $10 covers the material of the class, but not the actual book that you will need. And the book is available in our bookstore if you need to purchase the Essential Ernest Holmes. And there's sign-up sheets in the back, and you can contact Paul if you have any questions about that. Our metaphysical book study group continues every Sunday morning here in the conference room, starting at 9 to 9:45. This is led by Reverend Steve, and they are currently studying Living the Science of Mind by Ernest Holmes. And then we have our meditation group is continuing right after that, starting at 9:50 over in the LEC. And this is a time where you can go within the silence and meditate together before we come over here and have our spiritual vitamin. And that goes till 10:05. A couple more community events we have coming up: a dream catcher making class on Saturday, April the 15th. That's from 1 to 3 p.m. And if you'd like more information about that class, it's available on the back counter and a sign-up sheet, or you can contact Wendy Orsat. The cost for that class is $22, and it does cover all the materials and the instructions for the class. And then we are also having a chakra balancing meditation with laying of stones, and that will be on Sunday, April the 23rd from 1 to 2 p.m. Restore balance and peace in your life by allowing the healing vibration of stones and affirmations to infuse and balance your energy centers with divine light. And there's more information about that and a sign-up sheet again available on the back counter. And for more information, you can contact Wendy Orsat. And I have completed those announcements. Please stand and let's sing We Are One together.
And in this unity
shall live in harmony as peace has come and as we are one.
Good morning again. I'm still Jamaica Wallace, and I am your practitioner, your podium practitioner today. So let's start by reading our gratitude this morning together.
How grateful am I to feel all my feelings with transparency and vulnerability. I befriend every single feeling I have, and so it is.
Practitioners are the healing arm of our center. Our main job is to pray with and for you. To fill out a prayer request, use the yellow form in the seat backs in front of you. And if you're online, you can use our website at grantspasscsl.org. We are dedicated to your confidentiality and healing. We have taken several years of Science of Mind classes to become licensed practitioners. We also teach classes and workshops here at our center. If you are in need of prayer, please contact one of us for a short affirmative prayer after our service, or contact one of us individually for a professional practitioner service. Our phone numbers are in your program and online. Whether you have an issue to resolve or you just want to experience more good in your life, we are here for you, so use us. Today, our table practitioner is Deborah Perdue, and she will be holding the high watch for us, and she can direct you to a practitioner after the service if you would like prayer. And I want to thank Barbara Scott for our beautiful flowers today. And do we have anybody that is here for the first time? Please raise your hand. We have a gift we would like to offer. No first timers, okay, well, welcome back, welcome back. All right, just a reminder, if you do have a cell phone, please silence it now. We appreciate that. And let us read our prayer together.
Whatever gets in the way of my vulnerability is faced and released at the perfect time. I lean into all my feelings and embrace my connection to the source of love within me and all around me. And so it is.
So please remain seated and we will sing I Am Loved. This morning I chose a reading from our Science of Mind magazine, the daily guidance that they have, because it was just so fitting for today's reading. So for Sunday, the April 9th, out of Science of Mind magazine, the quote is from Ernest Holmes out of the Science of Mind. The resurrection is the death of the belief that we are separated from God, for death is the illusion alone and not to reality. Today is the day Christians celebrate Easter, the holiday honoring Jesus, resurrection, and the honor of eternal hope. Easter likely has its origin in pagan springtime rituals and represents the renewal of life this season brings. After a winter of dormancy, life returns in spring. Flowers bloom, trees leave out, animals come out of hibernation, birds ramp up their singing. Life quickens again, part of the natural cycle of this world. So too, humans have cycles. Sometimes we are productive and active. Other times we are dormant, hibernate, quiet. It is natural to feel differently at different times in the year or in life. Cycles of activity and rest appear throughout the natural world, and these cycles are necessary for our growth. One way to think of this is like snakes shedding their skin. Snake bodies continue to grow, but their skin does not. So they must shed their old skin to stay alive. We can think of Easter this way. It's time to shed or let die off that which is old so that we have room to grow and welcome in the new. So there's a really nice affirmation with this, and I just invite you to take a few moments, close your eyes, and go within. I'm going to read this affirmation for you to take into a few moments of silence, and I'll call you back when it's time. Today, I shed my old thoughts and beliefs, and I revel in the newness of life. In this beautiful place of oneness, I'd like to just take a moment and speak a word of blessing over this beautiful service and this time together. I know that there is not a spot where God is not. And as each of us show up here as beautiful, individualized, unique expressions of that Creator, we come together and we create the beautiful picture, the beautiful home that is this Grants Pass Center for Spiritual Living. And I know for that we are all so very blessed, and we can affirm this together. And now we will have some special music by Dave, followed by Reverend Steve's talk.
Well, good morning, everyone, and happy Resurrection Sunday to everyone. Sort of feels like that new beginning, doesn't it? Here this morning when I woke up and started my morning walk. Well, we all got a little rain in our lives, don't we? Some of us have a little bit more than others. Here's a song that takes you back to that. I don't know, probably not in the 1940s or something, but it has a good message. Look for the silver lining. Whenever a cloud appears in the blue, remember somewhere, the sun is shining. And so the right thing to do is make it shine for you. A heart full of joy and gladness will always banish sadness and strife. So always look for the silver lining and try to find the sunny side of life. That's a great song. Showers, they come your way. Hey, they bring the flowers next month that bloom in May. So if it's raining secrets. Because it isn't raining, rain, you know it's raining violets. I was gonna say violins, but it's violets. And when you see clouds upon the hill, you soon will see crowds and crowds of daffodils. So keep on looking for that bluebird and listening for his song. Whenever April showers comes along. And when you see clouds deep on the hill, you soon will see crowds of those wonderful yellow daffodils. So keep on listening for his song. Whenever April showers. Scooby-Dooby-Dooby-Doo.
Well, thank you, Dave. Let's hear it for Dave again. You know, what a treat. We'll just get this set up here. So how are you guys doing this Easter Sunday, huh? Huh? Look at this, look at this. We got a packed house. I love it. Well, we are going to start this morning with something a little different because it is our new member Sunday celebration. And we have some new members to honor. And what I'll have you do is, if you are in the house, to come over and stand on the side over here so we can get a picture. And rather than having everybody parade on the stage, parade around, we'll just stand over here. And our first certificate, I'd like to first bring up our board president to assist me with this, Jamaica Wallace. Our first certificate is for our very first virtual member, Linda Mitchell, who is Chris's mom.
Hi, Mom.
Virtual membership. And so if you know somebody who attends our church online, you just have to click, go find where the virtual membership is and fill it out, and you can become a member too. And we'll send this in the mail to Linda. Let's hear it for Linda. Our next member is Samantha Hall. Where's Sam? There she is. Over here. Would you like to stand over there? Our next member is Casey St. James, who's not here today. But let's hear it for Casey. And our next new member is Barbara Scott. Next is Joy and Terry Merriam. Is that right? Did I say it right, Merriam? Abby Frazier, who's not here today, but let's hear it for her. David Shedrick, yay! Bill Cook. Bill, let's hear for Bill. And also Karen and Roy Tate. Yay! New members I've ever welcomed since me being here for almost 7 years, something like that. So I think we've had this kind of a pandemic, like all of a sudden. Could you put the lights on over there for us, Kaylee, so we can get a good picture? There we go. That's gonna help. We want this for posterity, right? Well, no, this is for them. This is their thing. But now you're gonna wait there for a second because we have a little ceremony. New members, do you understand that you are charged to live the science of mind philosophy and look for positivity in all that you do? Yes, I heard a yes. Members, do you agree to welcome these new members into our spiritual family, support them, and love them until they can learn to love themselves?
Yes.
Welcome to our family, new members. We've been expecting you. Thank you for not disappointing us. Thank you, members. Thank you. And thank you to all the members here. And membership does have its privileges. But one thing I would like to advertise is that we got our new Science of Mind magazines in for May. They've already come in, so if you want to get one of those at the bookstore after the service. Let's see. This is something that Dr. Ernest Holmes wrote in the Science of Mind magazine in 1950. You know, this magazine has been in continuous publication for over 90 years. 90 years, 90 years. That's like one of the longest spiritual magazines in print. So check it out. It's pretty good. But in 1950, Dr. Holmes wrote this. Since man first began to meditate deeply and earnestly upon the spiritual meaning of life, there has always been a teaching that this physical plane is but a dense manifestation of a more subtle and ethereal plane. That this physical body is but a counterpart of an immaterial body. Today, even the scientific world is penetrating the mystery of the mind and the soul, and, at least theoretically, has resolved the material world into lines of force and energy. This physical body, which nature has provided for us to use on this plane, is real enough, or we would not have it. But it is not eternal. It is some part of the flux and flow of the activity of life upon itself on the physical plane. But it is not the flesh and blood that inherit the kingdom of the next plane. This perhaps is what Jesus referred to when he implied that if they destroy his physical body, he would rise up in another like unto it. So it wasn't the crucifixion of Jesus that is the important part. It's the resurrection. And that's what we celebrate, is that he didn't come here to show us that if you speak your word that you will be put up on the cross. If you speak your word, you have everlasting life because you've connected with that inner part of yourself. Again, that was from Ernest Holmes, The Best Is Yet to Be, Science of Mind magazine, April 1950. Well, my talk today is the power of vulnerability and what gets in the way of being vulnerable. Cracks in canyons. Do you have any cracks going on in your life? And I don't mean the ones, up here. But we all have cracks. We all have little fracture marks from being alive in this world. Maybe we've fallen down, and I don't mean physically, but maybe we felt like we've fallen down in certain places in our life. But if you look hard, you've been resurrected. You have lived through it, or you wouldn't be here. You would have already shuffled off this coil of experience had you gotten everything you needed. So what gets in the way of us being vulnerable? Fear, uncertainty, comparison can present themselves as cracks and canyons along our way. Let's explore this and lean into the discomfort and see what is possible on the other side of it. I think that if each one of us looked at some of the most challenging parts of our life, the other side of it has brought us through into something even more powerful. I know that I at one time wanted to take my own life. I was ready to check out. I was so ticked off about a relationship situation. I called my dad and talked to him about it. He goes, I can understand that. But before you do, I ask just one thing. There's a religious science church in your neighborhood, I bet. Why don't you call them and get a session with a practitioner? I had no idea what he was talking about, but I wanted to fulfill my dad's last wishes for me before I took my own life. And called up the Glendale Church of Religious Science in California, made an appointment with a practitioner at noon the next day, because I wanted to get this over with. And I told her my story. Beautiful practitioner, Janet Bryan Adams, who's made her transition recently. And I told her my story, and she listened very intently and said, is there anything else? That's pretty heavy, you know. She goes, I want to make sure before we go into prayer, there's nothing else you want included in this prayer. I thought about it. I said, no, that's pretty much it. And we went into prayer and something happened. And I don't know what she said because I kind of shut down. But when I opened my eyes again, I had had a spiritual experience. Something happened to me. And I knew that whatever this life situation, this thing that happened to me was just part of my life. It wasn't the end of my life. And that I could move through this and have a different experience. Well, I started attending that church every Sunday. And my dad, actually, he was living here in Eugene. He came down and went to church with me that Sunday. And he signed me up on every volunteer clipboard. I didn't even know he was doing that. He was over at the volunteer table. I thought he was going to volunteer. But he was signing me up to volunteer on, I was serving coffee, I was greeting, I was cleaning up afterwards. But then he signed me up for the soundboard. I was the sound guy. Because I know sound. I'm a bass player in a rock band, you know. I know sound. I know when something feeds back what to do. I'm on the controls. And it was through the working at the sound booth that I got this teaching. Because they said, oh, if you can do that, we have classes. And if you come and record the sound, you get the classes for free. Because they were recording the classes for people who couldn't be there. So all of a sudden, I had taken all the classes you needed to become a practitioner. And they're like, you could become a practitioner now. I'm like, oh, well, what's that mean? Wow. 30 years later, here I am. This is what it means to become a practitioner. Today, we will explore what gets in the way of your vulnerability. We'll explore the areas that may be sensitive that we push up against. It is through this understanding that each experience can be utilized as a guide on our path towards a greater awareness of ourselves and others. You see, if it was always easy, what fun would that be? Some people are saying, I'd like it a little more fun. It could be fun. I could do some more fun. Here's another writing by Ernest Holmes, and this is in his book, This Thing Called You, page 4. And if you haven't read Ernest Holmes' This Thing Called You, it's a smaller book than the Science of Mind textbook. and it's easier to read, and he wrote, "There is something within you, beyond all doubt and fear, something which has never been limited by your acts or destroyed by your feelings. This is the only something that can make you whole." Wow. Poignant. Perfect words. Science of Mind teaches us that there is something within us that has never been affected by fear, uncertainty, or comparison. This place is the home of spirit, that individualized expression that resides within us all. This space is the very birthplace of vulnerability and authenticity. You ever feel uncomfortable in like a room of people that are dancing? Some of us say, no way. Tell you, I was a wallflower and people were dancing. I was a great observer. I could tell you who knew the songs and who didn't, or who knew the moves and who didn't, but don't get me out there because I'm awkward. It's that gentle creative urge that propels us forward into deeper and deeper expressions of ourselves. This space makes rooms for fear and uncertainty. And when we meet it with our divine essence, a healing happens. Something changes within us when we finally stand up to dance. And we realize that everyone else is so worried about their own dance moves that they don't see that you can't dance. Because dancing is interpreted. Nobody dances wrong unless it's a certain dance step. But even then, you're open to interpretation. This brings me to my 3 talking points for today. I just wanted to mention that, isn't it interesting that is it Ramadan and Easter and Passover all kind of happened at the same time this year? There's a quickening that's happening. And I know in the world it looks like there's a lot of things that are challenging that are happening, but actually there's a awakening in consciousness. That's what we're all feeling, is the awakening. You know that feeling when you hit the snooze bar and you're not quite awake, but you're not quite asleep? You wish you were asleep and you wish you weren't so awake. It's in that moment that you can have some of the most vivid dreams because you're not really asleep and you're not really awake. That's kind of where we are right now. Some people are waking up and some people are going back to sleep. Now, I don't know about all this talk about being woke and what that means. All I know is that I don't want to sleep through what I'm supposed to be here to do. I want to be alive, awake, and alert. I want to get it because I don't want to have to do it again, right? I mean, let's not walk through our challenges more than the one time unless we actually need that teaching. So number 1, fear. Fear can sometimes be a powerful barrier to vulnerability. It can seem like a vast canyon outstretched as far as the eye can see. This fear may be experienced in different ways for different people. Fear of what others may think when you're dancing. Fear of trying something new, looking or feeling awkward. Fear of rejection. Fear of not being good enough at it. Shame and blame may sometimes be what we feel when we're in an awkward position. For some, individual and social frameworks or constructs may contribute to that fear and impact our vulnerability. We may say, I'll never put myself in that situation again. I'll never try that again. Fear, although not always pleasant, can be a helpful and powerful emotion in that it can shed light on areas of our life that require a closer look. That's all it needs, is we need to look a little deeper. We need to push into the fear and figure out what the message is behind the fear. If it was just fear, we'd just be running around fearful all the time. But fear is there to show us a new way. as well as show us areas within our communities and societies where changes need to be made in order to create safe space for vulnerability. See any of that going on in the world at all? No? Okay, just. Well, it's time to turn that TV off, right? Get outside, go to nature, have a good nature walk. 10 minutes of walking a day can change your life. Really, all you need is 10 minutes out in nature. So number 2, uncertainty. To be vulnerable is to become friends with uncertainty. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if I can do this. I don't know. Fill in the blank. But in this teaching, what we find out is that you may not know, but there is something within you that does know. There is something within you that knows how to heal itself. There is something in you that knows how to get through whatever you're walking through. If you're walking on coals in your life, you know what I'm saying? Your body knows how to move itself off of those coals. You just keep walking. You don't pitch a tent, camp out there. You keep moving. Uncertainty is part of the wholeness of life itself. We can choose to see it as a barrier or as a bridge to open us up to new vistas we may have not even known were there. So what's your vulnerable spot? I'm not trying to call anybody out. I'm just saying, where do you feel that you need to do some work? What's your growing edge? What's yours to do? We may find that the cracks of uncertainty often brings new avenues of awareness. The awareness opens us up and invites us to step through that door of unknowing. And all of a sudden, we know. All of a sudden, you figure it out. Remember that big challenge that you thought you could never get through? Maybe it was a job you took on that they thought you knew how to do something and you really didn't. Your resume just said that you had done it once. And all of a sudden, you are chief executive of that. So you got to figure it out. And that feeling of once you've figured it out, like, it's a whole new world. You've sprung yourself into the next fourth dimension. So comparison can also impact our ability to be vulnerable. If we compare ourselves to others, we'll always feel like we're not enough because there's always going to be somebody that does something better than you. That's just the way of the world. But you have to understand that you're doing something better than other people that don't even know how to do it are doing. You're doing a great job, exactly what you're doing right now. The instinct is often to take stock in all of the people in the room and then gauge ourselves in expression based on how we rank ourselves in comparison to others. It doesn't take much to see how this can greatly impact our willingness or our ability to safely show up just as we are. You are perfect. You are completely whole and you are complete within yourself. No comparison. There is no comparison. You are a unique thumbprint of God. How could you say that thumbprint is wrong? That thumbprint is bad. That thumbprint is perfect, just the way you are. This instinct or conditioned response may have been holding us back or allowing us to play small. Where might you be playing small in your world? I know that for me, cooking is not my forte. But I keep at it. I keep trying. I keep ruining meatloaf. That's what I do. But one of these times I'm going to get it. If I stop trying, You lock in your losses. It's just like playing the stock market, and when it goes down, you pull your money out. You locked in your losses. I just have to learn how to, read some more recipes. Okay, Chris. So the opportunity exists to look at the areas where we are comparing ourselves or playing small and begin to explore how we can be vulnerable. Harness the awareness of that, which magnetizes our ability to move forward into our authentic selves. That's why we're here. We are here to make mistakes, but not stay in the mistake. Fix it, figure it out, and add it to our resume of meatloaf. So in conclusion, choosing to be vulnerable, to express our authentic selves is not always easy. It can be uncomfortable. However, the choice becomes whether or not we will allow ourselves to be limited by the experiences that attempt to stand in the way of showing up as our true whole selves, or to be willing to look them in the face and then move away in a way that makes sense. Rumi said, move, but don't move the way fear makes you move. That means is stand up when you don't know. Raise your hand when you have a question and you don't understand something. Say, I don't know. And someone lovingly will come and show you. The ability to be vulnerable and authentic is often seen through the lens of privilege. There are many within our world for whom showing up authentically is challenging and sometimes unsafe. This is the work. This is the call to action. Understanding that fear, that uncertainty, and doing comparisons are not things to be avoided, ignored, or suppressed. Instead, their presence becomes a beacon, a microscope in which to view our open lives, our communities, and our world. It is this close-up view that we can begin to do the work of removing the barriers to vulnerability and a life truly lived out loud. Happy Easter, and so it is. Time for our prayer now, so I invite you to close your eyes if that's comfortable for you, or take a beautiful soft focus on the flowers or the candles or the beautiful little bunny. Let's remember who we are. I invite you to bring to the forefront of your consciousness of what you believe that the energy of life is to you. What is the creative energy that is moving you through this plane of existence? You are unified in that field of all opportunity, for something is moving right now. Healing is happening right now. Revealing of truth is happening right now. And our vulnerability allows us to step into places that we might feel uncomfortable. And that's okay. Because it is through that feeling that we gain awareness. And it is our awareness that brings us to understanding, to wholeness, to healing. So I activate that divine right action in the energy of who you choose to be, if you're open to that. I know that there is an essence that you were brought into this plane of existence with, that moves all the right cells in your body to all the right places for perfect healing, that moves everything in the body of our affairs to the right places so that we may have healing in our consciousness, in our physical world, in what we love and loves us. You are a divine emanation of the awesome power of this universe to express itself. You are one of a kind. There will be no other you in the universe. So let's take what we are. Let's show up in a new way. Let's listen deeply and love intently. For it is through that love that the world blossoms into a newness that's called you. Grateful for these energies of wholeness and healing. How grateful we are this day to be here, awake, alert, and aware. We call in the healing. As we release what no longer serves us, we let go. We let go of these words directly into the living, loving law of the universe, where it returns to us fully orbed and resplendent. As we affirm this together by saying, and so it is. Amen. It's time for our prosperity sharing affirmation. So let's put our hand on our heart with our gift. Affirm this together. I live freely and abundantly, sharing my wealth and prosperity with certainty that even more comes back to me. And so it is. Amen. Let's say a prayer for offertory this morning. Excuse me. From the love of pure spiritual energy, these tithes and gifts have been collected. They're evidence of our faith, our belief, and our ability to manifest in this world of form. They do good work in the world. They bless the giver and receiver, and allow this Grants Pass Center for Spiritual Living to be open and available, serving this community, allowing it to thrive in the abundance and love that it was created for. And for this, we are all blessed. And so it is.
So it is.
Let's stand up and sing our song.
Sing it again. before you know it, the world will start to show it. If you take a little love, pass it on.
Well, let's do our benediction. Please repeat after me. Something wonderful is happening right now.
Something wonderful is happening right now.
It's happening in my mind.
It's happening in my mind.
It's happening in my body.
It's happening in my body.
It's happening in the body of my affairs.
It's happening in the body of my affairs.
I think it,
I think it.
I feel it,
I feel it.
and I know it.
I know it.
Just the way that it is.
Just the way it is.
Just the way that it is not.
Just the way it is.
Thank you, life.
Thank you, Lord.
Happy Easter, everybody. Let's wait before we all get food and let them put it out first. So give them just a few minutes to get it prepared, and then we will all run over all at once and try to get the best dish. Happy Easter, everybody.